Hi everyone. So today I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and that is do an update to the Logseq DB version, as it's been a while since I did anything on it. And there's been quite a lot of changes, so let's get to it. So first up, to test it out, as usual, test.logseq.com. There is no desktop app for the time being, but that is in the works. So just for the time being, we need to use test.logseq.com, and the notes are saved within the browser cache, not within a proper file for the time being. So until a desktop app is released, it's only within the browser, but we can export it. So what we'll do, let's just create a new one, and we'll call this test1. That'll create a new graph, a new DB graph, and what you're presented with is just today's date, the journal on the as a tag. We've obviously got our right-hand side sidebar, the graph, the help, the contents, and on the left-hand side, the usual journals, flashcards, graph view, all pages, tasks, favorites, and recent. And then the usual drop down. So what we'll do is, let's just go to journal. And within the journal page, these are all the journals. So if I go back to the journal page and I go to yesterday, if I can spell it properly, and I click on this one, that will just do a journal page for yesterday. That's it here, so we can delete this now. And if I go to the journal page or tag, you see that now both of them have appeared, so yesterday and today's date. But what we can also do is we can do page properties. So for example, if we click this little drop down, that goes to the journal and we can add a property. So why don't we add sleep? We'll do a new option, we'll do a text, and what we'll do is we'll click on it, we'll do available choices, we'll do good, average, and one more, we'll do bad. So that will give us text option of 3 choices, good, average, bad, within the sleep category. Then we'll add, let's just do lunch as an option, and we'll do a text again. We'll do dinner. So what did we have for lunch and dinner? And we'll do one more. Let's just do a score, and we'll do that as a number. So that's it. So then when I now go back to the journals page, it's kind of introduced the properties within each, and obviously you can move them up, down as you want. So then sleep, let's do good. Lunch, let's do pizza. Dinner, we'll do pasta, and score of 5. Oops. And then yesterday we'll do average. Lunch was scones, and dinner was chicken curry, and the score of 8. Not a big fan with a score that you have to actually select it. I think it'd just be nicer if it just was a number just as you type, so you don't have to then click anything, but hopefully that will get fixed. So then I've got all of these, I can then just do my usual daily notes as I go along. So that's just the same, but the beauty of it now is if I go to journal, I can see the table view, and let me just make this a little bit smaller. So let's just do, I don't care about created and I don't care about updated, and let's just do a wide table. So you can see sleep, lunch, pizza, and score. So there is no calculation as far as I know yet. Let me just double check. Multiple values, hide. So no, nothing that you can do that like a count or a sum at the bottom, but hopefully that's being worked on. And then you can obviously sort ascending, descending, same with the name. You can then filter as you wish, so filter sleep on average, that will obviously exclude the other one. You can do different views, so list view rather than a table view, so that just gives you all of the list. Gallery view, similar thing, so that just gives you the day and the various different options, and then obviously you can select what you want it to show. So if I go here and I do visibility, I don't want dinner, I don't want score, and I don't want lunch. Okay, that should have changed, but obviously it didn't. Let me just check that again. So under gallery, you cannot select what you show, but you can under the table view. So obviously the ones that we didn't click have gone. So a few things that still need to be a bit ironed out. And what we'll do is let's just add one more day. We'll do the 20th. We'll do good, lunch, pizza, and score 8 as well. So now if I go back, what I can do is I can do the little 3 dots, group by, and I want to group it by sleep. So now it's grouped the sleep between good and bad, and what I can also do is then get rid of that and do it instead by lunch. Okay, in this case they were all both good, so that was a bit of a bad example. Let's do it by score instead. So then it's just moved the scores between the 5s and the 8s. So I think this is very good and a very good update in terms of the database view. It actually feels like a proper database view with various different things that you can do rather than just a lot of text. And what you can also do is then just do a new view, and we'll call this, oops, call this good days. And we'll do a filter, and we'll do filter on sleep good, and that's it. So that's my filter. So this is the full table. That's my good days sleep filter, and that's it. And obviously you can add another one with, let's do high scores, and we'll do a score is 8. So again, that just does that. And what if now you go back, we'll change the 5 to be an 8, go back to the journal, and then it appears here. So then the filter is only the 8. What I would like to see is, for example, if I change this to a 7, and I go back here, it now, and I do a filter, oops, on the high scores day I should have done. I do a filter, score. I can still only choose one. What I think would be great is if they can do it in a way that, or maybe you can, what I was going to say is if you can do it in a way that is above, or maybe you can do it here. So it doesn't come up in the options. So sleep, you can only choose, sorry, score, you can only choose one or the other. But here you can do greater than 5. Obviously it will all appear, greater than 8. Obviously it needs to be greater than or equal to. And there we go. So I think this is a lot more closer to Notion-like functionality. So well done to the devs on that one. It's actually pretty good. And what we can do is, let me just get rid of this. And we'll do so we'll create a book. So that just creates a normal page, but what we'll do is we'll tag it with a space. We'll tag it as a book. So a new tag book, that'll come up, then again it just goes onto the right hand side. And in a very similar way, here we're presented just with the table. Again, if we click on this little thing on the side, we can then do various things. So author, I want it to be a node of person. See if this works, because I've not actually tried this. Date started. We'll do that as a date, just to see how that works. Date ended is date time, and color. Let's just do that. And that is a, I can't remember what I did on, let's just do text. So now again, if I go to journals, go to the Harry Potter book page, it obviously appears here with all of the different tags. And in fact, what I can then do is let me do J.K. Rowling is let's see how this works. That is a person. So then it does the person, J.K. Rowling. So now if I go back to Harry Potter, I should be able to have the option of J.K. Rowling. So she's now associated with the Harry Potter book. The page comes up just like a normal page or calendar. So we'll do started yesterday, ended today. Okay, I don't want the time though. Can you get rid of the time? Oops, didn't mean to do that. Strange thing is they've also removed the back and forward keys, so they're gone, but you can use the browser ones. Let's just delete this and let's just try again. So if you do today, it puts the time, but if I do tomorrow or the day after, okay, it always puts the time. It'd be nice if there was a way that you could select it to not have the time. Anyway, and then cover, what we'll do is, let's just go to, oops, I'll do Goodreads. We'll just pick any cover. And paste that in there. So that's put the cover in. I'll just resize it a little bit, make it a bit more reasonable. And then the annoying thing is you need to play around with this a little bit, because if not it doesn't recognize. Wrong ones, that's why. Okay, so that's resized it, and that's it. So now, if I go to the book one, so you can see the list. If I go to gallery view, you can see the gallery with the various different things. And let's just try if I remove. So it doesn't change the visibility when it's on gallery view. Okay, so then, but at least you can see it there. And then obviously if I add another book, so let's just do, just for simplicity, this is a book as well. It comes up, we'll do JK again. Okay, this doesn't matter, let's choose anything. No idea again why one of them chooses, is that because I chose the wrong thing? Date. Oh yeah, so that was my mistake. I selected the wrong thing. So what we'll do is we'll go back to book. We will tweak this. So you can't change it, unfortunately. So what can you do instead? Date ended, nothing, can't tweak it. So I guess what you have to do is recreate it. And use the correct one. So that's a bit of a shame. So if you make a mistake, so on this one I can change, on this one I can't, and I guess it's because, let me just change this to table. Let me get rid of this, let me get rid of this, and now I guess I should be able to change it to date. So let me get rid of this one. Delete property, fine. So it's quite intuitive that if it's empty, you can change the type. If it's not, then you can't. So what I would say is just be careful, don't do what I did, and just pick the first one. So you can then tweak it as you see fit. And in fact, what we were then doing, let's just finish Harry Potter 2. So cover, we'll just do the same one. Just for ease. This time I'm just going to leave it, and we'll put some notes here. So that's that. And now if I go to book, there you see both of them, they're both covers. And again, you can play around with the different views. List is just the list view, and gallery view is the same gallery view that we saw earlier. And again, what you can now do is, if I change this to table view, just for ease, add a checkbox. And what we'll do, let me just make this a bit smaller. If I now do a new one, and we'll call it to read, we'll filter out the red is false, and there we go, with a bit of tweaking it removed it. So then you can have your to read list, read list, read by year. So then you can play around with it in terms of how you can want to show whatever table it is. Because with the date, you can do date, just select that, date ended is before, and then you can play around with it. But I don't know why then it added the other one back. Match all filters, match any filter. Red is false, and date ended is all. So it seems that something's not quite right. Red is false. Yeah. Red is true. They both disappear. Red is false, they both come back. Yeah, that just needs to be looked into. Something with the filtering, something slightly off. So that was the properties, and then obviously you can go to all pages. This is the all pages link, so the ones that we created, the daily pages, the Harry Potter book. We didn't create an actual page for Harry Potter 2, so that's why it doesn't appear here, but I can create that quite quickly by going here, making this into a page, and then that will appear here. It should be tagged as book. So I'm not too sure why that disappeared. And then you can play around with it with filters, search, how you want to see them, and what you see within each of the categories. Tasks is also a good one. So let's just do tasks. So then if you do task, it will add in a checkbox, and you can do backlog, to do, doing, in review, done, cancelled, and status. And I think you can change what appears. So you can play around with the status and then say, okay, I don't care about backlog. Let's just delete. Okay, you can't because it's a default one. Can I delete any other ones? Can't because it's built in. Okay, well there goes that idea. So you have to stick with one of them that appears. And then again, you've got the task list on the side, so you should be able to see all of your tasks in one big list, which then you can filter, is it done, what state it's at, and whatnot. I think they are working on a Kanban, so you should have it based on columns or however you want to group it. So status is done, doing, to do, etc. And then that will appear within the various different 3 columns. Graph view is still the same as usual. So you can see that. You can play around with the forces, charge rates, whatever that is, and various different things, and which nodes appear. Do you want the journals to appear or not? So very similar to as it is in just a normal Markdown one. There is also plugins that you can add in. So there's only a few for the time being. In fact, there's quite a lot, but I don't think most of these have been refined to be database ready. Let's just do calendar, which was there. What happens if I install it? That installed it, and then, okay, it added the calendar up here. So then you can play around with it and see the calendar there's a little bit of bleeding on the side, and this is where they just haven't been refined in full yet. So that was it. That was just a bit of a brief play around with the Logseq DB version. In terms of speed, it's pretty quick. The problem is there's a little bit of a lag. In fact, no, there's not. It is quick to move around. When I was playing around with it yesterday and I had more pages, there was a tiny bit of a lag, but it's not too bad. You can see it scrolls around the various different pages quite quickly, goes to the journal page relatively quickly. If I sort, it does it. Let me just add a few more here so we can see what happens. But you can get a sense of the speed of it. It's not bad at all. So if I now sort descending or ascending, okay, it's not sorted them out. So again, something just needs to be looked at in terms of the sorting, but it does it fairly quickly in terms of clicking and sorting things, albeit it's not quite the same. So we'll see about that one. I'll message the devs about that. And then in terms of exporting, so you've got export page or export graph. You get the option export SQLite DB, Lite DB and assets, or debug, which is really for the devs if you've got any problems, where it removes any sensitive data. And if you export the SQLite file, it just goes in to a file, an SQLite file, wherever you save it. And I did try, if we do, let's just do, where is import? Import existing node, SQLite. Let's import this one, so it's the one that we've just done. Give it a sec. It basically re-imports it, so at least it's finally a software where you can export the file and re-import it immediately, and it works. There's quite a few apps, Notion in particular, you can actually do that. So that was that. Anything else? Appearance, you can obviously play around with the appearance as it was. And in fact, on export as well, you can also set up a scheduled backup. So you just need to select the folder of where it goes. And then, let's just do it here. And then it will do it every hour, or you can select to back up now. The devs are still saying, or Rams is still saying, don't really rely on it, on using the DB version for day-to-day work, because it's still got some things that are changing. And I think one of the users exported a version of their notes, tried to re-import it again, something had changed and basically couldn't re-import them. So what I'm hoping is that soon enough they will bring in some sort of desktop app, so that then we can play around with it and actually do something with it, rather than keep testing it and actually not being able to use it. So that was it. So that was it on Logseq and the DB version. So just to give you a bit of an update. So thank you very much for watching. Bye.